All right, you guys, happy Thursday. Last show until I take a much needed break. And it's going to be a good one. As always, as we continue this investigation, we are definitively getting closer. I can now officially debunk that Marvel storyline and therefore refocus our investigation on what actually happened on 9/10 because I have new information and I'm presenting it to the public today. So what do we recall? Well, we were told that Charlie just had healthy bones, that it was a miracle that the gun did not take his neck out and that his spine somehow stopped it.
All right, everyone. Happy Thursday final broadcast before I take a much-needed hiatus. And it's going to be an excellent one. As always, as we proceed with this inquiry, we are certainly getting nearer. So what do we remember? Well, we were informed that Charlie merely had strong bones, that it was astonishing that the firearm didn't sever his neck, and that his vertebrae somehow blocked it. I can now definitively disprove that Marvel narrative and consequently redirect our inquiry toward what really occurred on 9/10, because I possess fresh information and I'm disclosing it to the public today. Candace Owens is no longer merely an inquirer. She's diving into the heart of a tempest, surrounding one of the most unsettling and enigmatic tales that social media has ever quietly discussed. This occasion isn't about views or influence. Candace claims it's about concealed facts. While most of the media has stayed strangely quiet, she's venturing into the shadows, posing questions few dare confront. Who truly wanted Charlie removed from the public eye? Owen states she's gathered some delicate material, information that, if authenticated, could completely reverse the entire story. These encompass text messages, emails, and personal notes, all of which Candace suggests might expose something very grave. However, she also stresses that these are solely her own discoveries, not verified by any organization, and matters become even more peculiar when she reveals that she sent a backup package to several of her most reliable contacts to ensure that, regardless of circumstances, this information wouldn't vanish overnight. I proceeded this week and distributed a life insurance policy of sorts, a package rather to individuals that I trust. A package containing text messages, emails, private communications, videos, and confidential legal documents. So, if anything occurs to me, you all will know precisely who it is that has been making my existence unbearable over the past couple of years. The disclosure sent a shiver down their spine. It portrayed the image of a woman who understood she was navigating hazardous territory, but declined to retreat. And then came the segment that ignited social media. Multiple sources indicated Charlie had been visibly disturbed in her final public appearances, almost as if she sensed something was approaching. Now, Candace Owens says she's concerned for her own security as well, and you can perceive it in her voice, clear, resolute, and filled with caution. She's no longer speaking in hesitations. She's speaking directly and candidly. If anything unusual occurs, the truth will emerge on the internet. It's not merely words. It's like a digital mechanism prepared to be triggered as soon as silence descends. Candace says she shared all the documents, messages, recordings, emails, and videos with 8 trusted individuals in various locations, labeling it her treasure trove of truth. Even if someone attempts to silence her, she claims the data will simply be released. It's not fear, it's strategy. A courageous maneuver. As if Candace is sending a message. You can keep me out of the spotlight, but you can't conceal what I've uncovered. Their response on social media was intense. One host even half-jokingly remarked that after observing all this, he was contemplating establishing his own dead trigger system in case the truth was once again pushed into obscurity. Individuals that are attempting to ruin me financially, trying to bankrupt me and my family that are intimidating us with lawsuits. Everything that Kanye stated was so genuine. All right, I'm now at that stage where you reflect and you think, wow, Kanye was correct. He was truly expressing something about what it requires to depart. You know, to battle for custody of your own spirit. Just leave me be. Allow me to express what I believe and you express what you believe. Compete fairly. Why must you constantly make this threat to financially destroy people? Though Candace spoke in a casual tone, there was an underlying tension. There was a feeling of disquiet, as if something was lurking just beyond view. Even she acknowledges that in today's world, speaking truthfully isn't just about attention. It's about genuine danger. It's like observing a magician perform the same illusion repeatedly. You know the trick before the hat even moves. And then Candace says something that silences everyone. It's not just a remark. It's a warning, a challenge, and possibly a prediction. From that point, the internet is buzzing with a common question. Is Candace revealing something that's been right before our eyes, or are we simply choosing not to perceive it? She says, "You know where the rabbit is heading before the hat even shifts." A metaphor that sounds like a code phrase to anyone alert enough to comprehend. Within minutes, social media erupts. The timeline is filled with analysis, commentary, and interpretation of her words, and I want you to understand that those individuals, if anything happens to me, they have my explicit authorization to release everything. Detonate it all, exposal of these figures in politics and in the movement who behave like this behind the scenes. It's essential, and I strongly recommend every single person out there that has a platform and is experiencing difficulties and is frightened. Do the same. Send everything to approximately 8 people that you trust. And I mean, I've arranged it. I sent it to journalists, text messages, and screenshots to people ranging from Max Blumenthal to Andrew Tate. They won't know where it's originating from. The entire situation sounded like something from a spy thriller. Everyone knew precisely what Candace was alluding to, even though she didn't mention any names, and now it was safe to say matters were becoming serious. Candace Owens was no longer merely making attention-grabbing remarks or challenging her followers. She was exposing something larger, organized, deliberate, and completely secure. She says her evidence is duplicated and secured, and she encourages other content creators in similar circumstances to do the same. Back up, distribute, and encrypt their data like digital puzzle pieces so no one can completely eliminate it. Candace also discloses that she sent copies of her files to a small group of trusted journalists and public figures. No one knows who they are or where they are located. 8 people, 8 hidden treasures, 8 threads of security that cannot be severed simultaneously. Even if one channel of information is disrupted, the others will continue to function. It's not an act of fear. It's a proactive strategy, a clever maneuver that transforms vulnerability into unstoppable strength. Now, the internet isn't just observing Candace. People are wondering, is this a defensive reaction or one of the most sophisticated media strategies in recent years? 3 individuals informed me off record. 2 people who have this in a written communication from Charlie, one who was a Turning Point USA contributor, and I would consider very much one of the white knights in this situation. The very day before Charlie Kirk died, he expressed that he believed he was going to be murdered. Candace had constructed what she termed a digital shield, a system of protection that no one could erase or control. Rumor suggested that one of her trusted custodians was journalist Max Blumenthal, while the others remained ghosts in the system, dispersed, silent, and nearly untraceable. An insider began joking that people were misinterpreting her words, but beneath the laughter lay a cold reality. Once something was in the public domain, it no longer belonged to you. People would take it, distort it, edit it, and make it unrecognizable. So Candace says she secured all her files in encrypted vaults, not out of fear, but because she desired to control her own narrative. And then the moment that turned the internet upside down occurred. Candace confirmed that her security system had been activated. Within minutes, chaos spread across social media. Hashtags like Candace Files, Kirk Truth, and Switch-activated flooded news sites trending worldwide. Comment sections became a digital battlefield. Everyone wanted to know who possessed the files, what was inside, and why was she protecting them at all costs. Rumors circulated faster than facts. Some claimed to have seen leaked files on hidden forums, but most were fabricated. Still, the frenzy continued. Reporters began calling in large numbers. Social media and email were flooded with notifications until suddenly silence. Candace vanished from all platforms for 2 days. No posts, no stories, no videos, no explanation. And that silence was unsettling. It was more shocking than any statement she had ever made. As if the world were waiting for a signal from the shadows, where Candace's digital shield was still operating silently but powerfully. People started asking, is Candace Owens truly holding something that could disrupt things, or is the mystery surrounding her the real story? A person close to her reportedly said, "I have a feeling something terrible is about to happen." And with that, the internet exploded. 3 separate sources claimed they heard Charlie say to these people, "I think they're going to harm me." He didn't say that to me directly, but I'm telling you based on the testimony of 3 people who were there. I'm telling you this because I hope those people, individuals who were close to him and who I believe had good intentions, will feel compelled to speak up. Again, let me stress that these conversations were off their cord. I respect that. When I say off their cord, I mean that no recordings were made. But what I recall most is that voice, that same anxiety, that sense that something was approaching quickly and silently. Those private discussions may never become public, but there's no denying that a pattern was emerging. According to people familiar with the situation, the recent tension between Charlie and his major supporters was no longer about finances. It was a conflict over control, direction, and freedom of thought. He reportedly began distancing himself from the powerful figures behind the substantial contracts and international connections, a move that displeased many in the upper ranks, especially those accustomed to controlling the narrative. Just a day before everything collapsed, Charlie reportedly confided to friends that he felt as if the walls were closing in around him, that the truth he was pursuing might be coming back to confront him. He said he felt uneasy, not because of strangers, but because of them. And since then, the word "them" has been at the center of every theory, every conversation, every late-night live stream. Candace Owens said it repeatedly, "them." The way she emphasizes the last syllable, the way her voice lowers with emphasis, makes viewers lean toward the screen, wondering, does she know who them are, or is she still playing a game the world is engaged in? Now, the internet held its breath. If Candace was speaking the truth, the upcoming revelation could shake everything we believed. It wasn't a rumor anymore. It was like a silent countdown was happening right before our eyes. Then, unexpectedly, a short, grainy clip appeared. It showed Charlie sitting in his car filmed just a day before the incident in Utah. His voice was low, his eyes scanning around, and then he said, "If anything happens to me, examine the people who changed allegiances." Within hours, the video had gone viral. Some believed it was authentic. Some believed it was fabricated. But it didn't matter. The internet had exploded. Commentators dissected every frame. Fans analyzed every gesture, and the media pounced as if they sensed a major secret. The only question that echoed was, who are they? Some people ridiculed Candace, saying she was grandstanding. Others believed she was revealing something dangerous. But the more she was mocked, the stronger her support grew. Within hours, thousands of people poured into X and Rumble with the same message. They silenced one voice, and now they fear the next. A digital rebellion erupted in real time. Intense, uncontrollable, and emotional. What chilled people wasn't what Candace said. It was what she didn't say. She merely hinted that fragments of her evidence were scattered across the web, scattered beyond deletion. She called it the fragmented truth, and the words left the audience speechless. When something has been duplicated sufficiently, it cannot be destroyed. The words echoed like a cold wind, not a threat, but a warning that the story was out there just waiting to surface. Then things started to go awry. Independent journalist Max Blumenthal posted a cryptic message saying he had interesting documents related to Candace's investigation and would only release them if the situation warranted it. The post exploded overnight. A swarm of cyber investigators rushed to track down every clue, every file, every post. Convinced the truth was just around the corner. Someone even released a digital map claiming that 8 secret drives were hidden in various countries. No one could verify it, but the paranoia spread like wildfire. The mainstream media attempted to dismiss Ida's social media hype, but it was too late. The story spiraled out of control. Even CNN had to respond, calling it a digital frenzy fueled by suspicion and speculation. But one detail still left the public puzzled. The official version of the incident did not align. The full report was sealed. The family of the person involved refused to comment, and a leaked video from the parking lot showed a silhouette that did not match the identity on record. It was at that moment the whispers began to spread like a fire that had not been extinguished. Initially, the chatter was just a whisper, and it grew louder by the hour. Not baseless accusations, but pointed questions. What was missing? Who was controlling the narrative? And why did the truth seem to be hiding in plain sight? Candace's followers began, calling this the biggest media scandal of the decade, a digital storm that refused to subside. Some inside sources even suggested that powerful organizations were secretly monitoring the entire situation. It seemed far-fetched until the posts, data, and articles suddenly vanished overnight. Then Tucker Carlson spoke up. When journalists start activating the dead man's switch, something is seriously wrong in America, he said. Just one sentence, but the internet shook. For many, it was confirmation that Candace might not be overreacting. The next morning, things intensified. An internal memo leaked detailing data breaches and digital surveillance of various media figures. The internet immediately connected with Candace. Within minutes, the hashtags they knew, Candace warned us, switches activated trended at the top. In just 48 hours, Candace's Rumble viewership tripled, and her community exploded with the belief that something significant was happening. Then she posted a single line. When truth becomes a danger, only bravery will keep you alive, then absolute silence. No posts, no live streams, no updates for 2 days. Social media was flooded with panicked messages. Where was Candace? Was she safe? A screenshot of her last status went viral. And when Elon Musk wrote, "I hope she's safe," more than 40 million views. The world held its breath. When Candace returned, the atmosphere was different. The video lighting was dim, her voice low and measured, her face calm but tense. "I'm fine," she said quietly, "but this is larger than me." Then she looked directly into the camera. "They don't just want silence, they want compliance." The words echoed like thunder. 10 seconds of silence. The screen went dark. The internet erupted. Viewers were divided. Some saw her as frightened. Others said she was prepared to retaliate. Either way, it wasn't just a video. It was a breathtaking moment. Even her critics were silent. Then, a blurry screenshot appeared, an email allegedly from Candace's encrypted account titled, "Don't delete Part 1 with the file funding conflicts docs." Every account that shared it was quickly banned. Coincidence? Perhaps, but the internet doesn't believe in coincidences anymore. Rumors circulated. The file contained a list of sponsors. Or was it bait? No one could verify it, but the mystery was enough to keep millions engaged. Hours later, Candace was back on stream. Her eyes were blazing, her voice choked with emotion. "They attempted to silence me, erase me, but I'm still here. The truth is out." It was just a matter of time. The sentiment was contagious. The internet, had a new obsession. The Kirk files, the screenshots, the 3A, 5C, 7H. Authentic or fabricated, it didn't matter. The legend had endured. Those files are no longer documents. They've become symbols. Proof that no matter how powerful the system, there will always be people courageous enough to resist. And then a new name emerges. The Candace Pact. 8 anonymous individuals, 8 secret data vaults, 1 unquenchable idea. Once the truth is disseminated, it cannot be concealed. What was once a mystery has become a movement, a place where power and confusion intertwine. Because if even part of Candace's words are true, this story has gone beyond Charlie Kirk. No longer an incident, but a warning about control, influence, and the dangers of truth. But the question remains, who are they? Who made Charlie afraid before that? Fateful day? Who is Candace referring to? No one knows for certain, but everyone feels the weight of what's left unsaid. Because you can silence a person, but you can't stop a secret that's been duplicated around the world. When Candace came back online, the atmosphere was different. The internet wasn't a debate. It was a battlefield. The two sides were clear. One believed she had something that could disrupt the system. The other believed she'd been consumed by the chaos of her own making. Tension, fear, and anticipation filled the web. Then suddenly a short clip appeared on X. The image was unsteady. The sound was muffled, but the timing was perfect. It went viral. In minutes, grainy, mysterious, and impossible to ignore. The clip showed Charlie Kirk sitting at a dinner table with two strangers and a prominent political donor. His face half-lit, half-shadowed, as if recorded from a secret meeting. The audio in the clip was choppy and distorted, but one sentence rang out clearly through the static. I obviously followed their script. I don't care who tries to stop me. The words went viral. Within minutes, the video was on every platform. Slow motion, subtitled frame by frame, then abruptly disappeared, citing cybersecurity. That disappearance only made it explode more. The internet went into a frenzy. Users examined every pixel, analyzed the reflection, the background noise, even the glass of water on the table. Some claimed the video was AI-generated. Others believed it was real. But everyone agreed on one thing. Someone didn't want it to be seen, and the timing was too perfect to be a coincidence. Just hours before the video appeared, Candace tweeted, "Time is running out." And then, almost immediately, the clip vanished. No one believed it was a coincidence anymore. It was like a switch had been flipped, setting off a domino effect that rippled across the web. Newsrooms were buzzing. Fox News was silent. CNN called it a digital illusion. MSNBC called it a risky move by someone whose influence was declining. But the independent community was relentless. YouTubers, Substack journalists, podcasters were analyzing every detail, scouring the data like detectives. Then came the big question, the mysterious 8 people. 8 people were said to be holding encrypted copies of the Candace Covenant. Some said one of them had leaked the clip. Others believed it was a deliberate signal, proving the data was real and that more would follow if Candace continued to be targeted. When Max Blumenthal finally spoke, the internet exploded. He neither confirmed nor denied, only said in a low, calculating voice, "I can't verify whether the clip is from her archive, but I can say that the concern in some circles is very real." That single statement sent a shockwave through Washington. Hours later, a series of government accounts posted about disinformation and foreign interference. But the way they appeared together made one wonder. Was someone preparing an explanation before the real question was asked? And then, just when it seemed like things couldn't get any stranger, something unexpected happened. The official Utah police website, which had been publishing information about Charlie's case, suddenly went down for maintenance for nearly 2 days. When the site came back up, people noticed something was wrong. Some case files were gone. Reports, timestamps, and even crucial surveillance footage had vanished without a trace. No announcement, no reason. And the silence that followed was so heavy it was palpable. It wasn't quiet. It was a silence that was filled with warning, as if someone somewhere was trying to hide something too big to be public. Even skeptics began to waver. The timing, the missing data, the covert handling, it all fit too well to be a coincidence. Candace's supporters were furious. A viral post with the caption, "They're erasing their tracks right under our noses," garnered more than 2 million views in an hour. Even neutral observers were baffled. How could a public case lose half its digital data overnight? The timing was perfect, so precise, so calculated. And then Candace Owens reappeared. The screen flickered before her face appeared calm but fierce, her eyes glowing like someone ready to cross the line. She spoke slowly, each word distinct. If they think Charlie's story ends in Utah, they're mistaken. His story, it's just beginning. Candace leaned closer, her voice low and steady, her eyes fixed on the camera. One of the 8 has acted. The rest will follow. The words struck the internet like a bolt of lightning. What was she confirming? A hint at a new leak? No one knew for certain, but the atmosphere was heavy and tense. By the end of the week, every major political show was discussing it. Some lauded, saying she was performing, but others were cautious, thinking Candace might be holding something too significant to ignore. And within hours, the phrase "dead man switch" shot straight to the top of global search rankings. The internet was stuck in a state of waiting. People kept refreshing their feeds, waiting for the next clip, the next file, the next twist in the story, but then nothing. No video, no leak, no update. It's as if the world is holding its breath, waiting for the next domino to fall. So what's next? A new revelation, another twist? Or will someone intervene and stop it all for good? Share your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe to stay tuned for the next chapter. Because whatever happens next, it's certain to shake things up.